Can you imagine waking up to the roar of a chainsaw tearing through your own backyard, only to find your neighbor casually hacking away at something you built with your bare hands? It's the kind of nightmare that sounds too wild to be true, but let me tell you, it happened to me. I'm Jake Harrison, a freelance land surveyor who's always preferred the quiet life. About a year ago, I inherited my grandpa's cozy log cabin in a sleepy rural town called Willow Creek, tucked away on Elm Lane. I traded the city's endless hustle for this peaceful spot, figuring it was my chance to slow down, work from home, and honor the old man's memory. He loved tinkering with wood, building things that stood the test of time, so I poured my heart into erecting a sturdy 8-foot privacy fence around my modest garden plot. It wasn't just boards and nails, it was my tribute to him, a symbol of claiming my space after years of feeling rootless in tiny urban apartments. The fence gave the place a sense of completion, shielding me from prying eyes and letting me enjoy the rustling leaves and chirping birds in solitude. Little did I know that serenity was about to shatter in the most outrageous way. It was a chilly October morning around 9 a.m. I was at my desk, sipping black coffee and diving into a complex mapping project for a client, when this aggressive buzzing sliced through the air. At first, I shrugged it off as some distant yard work folks around here love their power tools. But it grew louder, closer, until I realized it was coming from right behind my house. My pulse quickened. Something felt off. I bolted to the window, and what I saw made my stomach drop. There she was, my next-door neighbor, a stern woman in her mid-50s with a sharp pixie cut and work gloves, wielding a chainsaw like it was a garden hoe. She'd already carved a massive gap in my fence big enough for two people to stroll through side by side. Wood chips flew everywhere, and the scent of fresh-cut timber mixed with exhaust fumes. For a split second, I froze, wondering if this was some prank or hallucination. Who the hell does that? In broad daylight, no less. Her name was Lisa Cartwright, as I later found out, the iron-fisted president of our local homeowners association. But in that moment, she was just the lunatic demolishing my hard work. I yanked open the back door, heart pounding, and confronted her. She shut off the chainsaw, wiped her brow, and flashed this eerily polite smile, like she'd just trimmed a hedge. "Morning, Jake," she chirped, as if we were chatting over coffee. "Didn't mean to disturb you. Figured I'd knock this out early before the day heated up." I stared, speechless, my mind racing. She explained, without a hint of remorse, that my fence was obstructing her family's ancestral trail to their herb patch. Ancestral trail? I'd lived there 6 months and never seen a soul use that strip of land. It was my yard, plain and simple. The audacity hit me like a slap. Here she was, chainsaw in hand, dictating terms on my property, acting like I was the intruder. Shock turned to a deep, burning hurt. That fence wasn't cheap or easy. It represented hours of sweat and a connection to my grandpa. Tears pricked my eyes, but I swallowed them down. Instead of exploding, I grabbed my phone and started snapping photos, close-ups of the damage, her with the tool, even a quick video as she rambled on about her so-called rights. Documentation is king in my line of work. Boundaries don't lie on maps or in life. Lisa eyed me warily but didn't stop me, just kept spinning her tale of generational access before sauntering back to her place, leaving the wreckage behind. No apology, no offer to fix it. Just entitlement wrapped in a smile. I stood amid the splintered wood, feeling violated, questioning if I'd underestimated the craziness of small-town living. Calling the cops crossed my mind, but with her HOA clout, I opted for the proper route first. Big mistaker, was it? That afternoon, I dove into research mode, pulling county records, old surveys, and my fence-building permits. The maps were crystal clear. No easement, no shared path, it was all mine. Emboldened, I compiled a thick dossier. Timelines, receipts showing I'd sunk $800 into materials, photos galore. The next day, I marched to the HOA office, nerves jangling, and filed a formal grievance, requesting a hearing. The clerk nodded sympathetically, promising a review soon. I left thinking logic would prevail. How naive. The meeting rolled around a week later in the community hall, under fluorescent lights that buzzed like my anxiety. I arrived armed with printouts and a laptop, ready to lay out facts like a courtroom exhibit. The board 5 members, with Lisa presiding like a queen on her throne, listened as I presented, Official boundaries stamped by the county, evidence of her vandalism, the emotional toll. But their eyes glazed over. When Lisa's turn came, oh boy, she unleashed a masterclass in manipulation. Out came a crumpled, antique-looking map, no seals, just scribbles from who knows when claiming 1950s borders that proved her trail's heritage. Then the waterworks, sobs about her late grandma's cherished flower beds, a faded photo of an old lady amid blooms to sell the sob story. It was theatrical, over the top, yet the board lapped it up, tissues passed, shoulders patted. My interjections about authenticity? Brushed off as insensitive. Politics trumped proof. Alliances won the day. Their verdict? A temporary allowance for Lisa's use while they investigated. Months of delays, no doubt, letting her win by default. I walked out into the crisp night, gutted, replaying every word. I'd played fair, and it backfired. Anger simmered. If they wanted games, I'd learn the rules. Things escalated fast. Lisa treated my yard like her extension, dragging lawn furniture over, hosting garden parties where strangers tromped through, laughing like it was public parkland. I'd hide behind blinds, feeling trapped in my own home, privacy shattered. Sleep evaded me. Every rustle outside sparked paranoia. That's when George Finley entered the picture. The wise old guy down the block, a retired county surveyor with a porch-sitting habit and eyes that missed nothing. One tense afternoon, after Lisa smugly waved while her friends invaded, George ambled over. "Rough go with the neighbor, huh?" he said, that knowing glint in his eye. I spilled the saga, from chainsaw to sham meeting. He listened, then dropped a bombshell. "That trail's got history you might want to dig into." Intrigued, I followed him to the town archives the next weekend, a dusty vault of forgotten files. We pored over yellowed documents for hours until George unearthed a gem, a 2005 lien sale record. The prior owner of Lisa's house had racked up debts after passing. To settle, the county auctioned off fragmented rights, including driveway and trail access. Bought cheap by some absentee, then abandoned for 2 decades, they were due to revert and hit auction again soon. My mind raced. If sold once, why not buy them myself? It was audacious, borderline mad, but the power shift? Irresistible. George grinned. "Knowledge levels the field, son." I obsessed over details for weeks: legal loopholes, auction mechanics, Lisa's worsening antics, threatening notes via HOA, private path signs on my land, weekend crowds turning my sanctuary into a zoo. Doubts gnawed. What if it blew up? Lost savings, job fallout. But visions of her smug chainsaw swing fueled me. This wasn't just revenge, it was reclaiming dignity. George coached me. Risks high, but inaction costlier. Auction day dawned gray and tense, November's chill mirroring my nerves. The old courthouse lobby hummed with bidders, investors eyeing big lots, not piddly easements. I registered as number 18, palms slick, George at my side for backup. The gavel cracked on foreclosures first, bids flying into thousands. My lot access to 456 Elm Lane came mid-session, starting at $75 for usage rights only. Silence. I bid low. A lone competitor pushed to $150. I countered to $200. Sold. For pocket change, I owned her lifeline. Paperwork sealed, certificate in hand. George chuckled. "You flipped the script, Jake. She's landlocked without your say-so." Triumph surged, but strategy next. Subtlety? Nah. I built a simple latch gate at the trail's mouth, right on my new boundary. Hammering echoed my resolve, same tools, new purpose. Lisa spotted me mid-build, storming over like a hurricane. "What the hell?" she barked. Calmly, I handed her the docs. "Bought fair at auction. Your ancestral rights? County owned till yesterday." Her face drained of color denial, fury flashing. In a rage, she snatched and shredded the papers before a gathering crowd of neighbors. "Fake," she shrieked, bits fluttering like defeated flags. Gasps rippled, even her allies winced. I stayed cool. Copies abound. Permission needed now or detour the long way. Or rent it. $100 monthly fare? Public humiliation cracked her facade. Whispers turned to murmurs of unhinged. 2 days later, she knocked, deflated, no bluster left. We talked over tea. She signed the lease access for upkeep duties, no intrusions. Civil, if strained. I even repurposed her chainsaw scraps into flower boxes. A quiet jab, she acknowledged with a grimace. But twists lingered. George confessed over porch beers. He'd quietly scooped neighborhood rights at past auctions, countering Lisa's tyranny. At the next HOA meet, he donated them with strings, transparent rules, no favoritism. Lisa's reign crumbled. She stepped down, a shadow of her former self. Now, peace reigns on Elm Lane. Lisa pays up, nods hello, the town's fairer. Grandpa would have chuckled patience and smarts beat bullies. But was I the hero or just as ruthless? Did buying her access cross a line, or was it justified karma? What do you think? Should I have gone nuclear sooner, or was the legal twist too sneaky? Would you buy a neighbor's rights to end a feud, or call it overkill? Drop your hot takes below, smash that like if revenge stories fire you up, and subscribe for more real-life dramas that make you question everything. Who's the real villain? Here you decide.